If you're watching this, and there's a good chance that you either own the Mini 2 or you're really interested in it to the point that you're thinking about maybe going for the purchase. With the Mini 2, obviously there's quite a fun flying experience to be had, but not only that, it creates awesome video and it takes pretty nifty photographs as well. Now, a huge improvement from the Mini 1, let's just call it the Mini 1 or the Mavic Mini, is its ability to shoot RAW. And basically what that means is there's more information captured onto the sensor, which ultimately gives you a better quality photograph and video image. So I'm going to talk really quickly about 3 ways that you can nail better photographs from your Mini 2. So the first shot that I took was what I would call a wide of Worcester city centre, well, Worcester in the background and Diglis Bridge in the foreground. I'm super happy with this shot, and the main reason I'm happy with it is because of how far I was able to edit it. Now, if you're watching this and you're not interested in editing, that's up to you. That's ultimately up to you if you don't want to edit your photographs. But with a RAW capability, it's a good idea to learn to edit. So for this photograph, for example, if I show you the RAW image, it's quite flat. It's a little bit underwhelming. And on Lightroom, if I press the / key, I can toggle between the edited version, the before and the after. And with the after version, all I've simply done is I've enhanced some of the colors. I've taken the shadows up. I've reduced the highlights. I've played with the whites and the blacks, the clarity and the texture and the saturation and some of the color depths to my liking. And I keep saying this, but because of the ability to shoot RAW, it's given me so much wiggle room and room for maneuver. So my first tip is shooting RAW. You can take the colors further, you can bring them back, and you can basically get an image just to how you like it. And the second way that you can really improve your photographs is what I've got here, which is a top-down shot of the weir of the River Severn. And it's kind of an abstract kind of image, and that's one thing that you can really achieve with what we call a top-down photograph. So I've rotated the gimbal all the way to 180 degrees, so it's pointing completely down, or 90 degrees down, and it's literally pointing on top of the weir. So I really like this because it's a really sort of geometric kind of like abstract sort of photograph. And the way I've executed it is I use the auto exposure bracketing function, which is what simply put as the AEB. Now what that does, that takes 3 photographs. It will take a photograph at the settings that you've chosen, and you can choose how far apart or close together the brackets are. Now why would you do this? What's the point? So this, quite simply put, is to improve the dynamic range of the photo. If you just take one photograph, the small sensor that's in the camera will only process so much information. By taking 2 photos either side, we take a brighter image and a darker image. So let's just, for argument's sake, let's say that we shoot at 1/100th of a second, and that figure looks like it's written 1/100. That's 1/100th of a second. That's quite a quick exposure. If I bracket either side of that, I will probably choose to have half and double the exposure. So I will take a photo at 50th of a second and 200th of a second. Now the camera and the drone does that for you in camera. It takes 3 photographs, and then when you get them off your memory card, put them into your software and you can blend them together, and you can really pull out the darks and the bright areas of the photo, which again gives you more wiggle room if you're shooting raw to edit your photo and get a better contrast image, an image that's with more contrast, more punch and more vibrance, more color depth, ultimately giving you a better image. The third way of shooting is quite simple. It's black and white. Now sometimes when you're taking photos, the contrast can be quite dull, can't quite pick out a lot of colors and vibrancy in the actual scene. So by shooting in black and white, you can really eliminate all those annoying distractions that you might have been faced with, such as dull colors. Shooting black and white, what we can do is just increase the tonality. We can increase the whites and the blacks, the bright areas and the dark areas, and you can do this with one single image. Here behind me is a shot of the bridge. It's a very linear composition with somebody just walking across. I managed to capture that, and because they're quite dark in the frame, it makes for quite a pleasing image. So just by shooting black and white, you can really enhance your photographs. So please do let me know if you've been shooting with any one of these 3 techniques. Have you been shooting black and white? Have you been using the AEB function? Or have you just been shooting raw, just single exposures? I'd love to hear from you. Do let me know if you've got any comments or suggestions. And also check out my other videos on the Mini 2, which you might find interesting. So as for now, thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, I'd love to hear your comments. Hit that like button. A subscribe will always go down well with me. And I will see you on the next video. Take it easy wherever you are in the world. And see you soon.
Since I've seen that the sun could be bright again, I don't ever wanna be blind again for you. Cause if the stars came alive in my dreams again, I'd stay up all day just to feel again.